So this is one of my favourite parts of the evening, is our member spotlights. And we have a fantastic member this evening. We did have a couple of others who were keen, but they checked their schedules and they weren't available. Or, yes, there was a whole conversation that needed to happen. So we've got one, and we've got the fantastic Terri Bowman, who is just going to blow your mind, because she blows my mind every time I sit down with her, and she has amazing energy. And I know I can say that in this room because you guys don't, well, you keep coming back. I haven't freaked you completely out with all my woo-woo comments every now and then. But Terri has beautiful energy, and you just want to know how you can achieve that. So please make Terri welcome.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for inviting me. Well, thank you, Fleur, for inviting me tonight. Just a little bit of background about what I do and how I got onto my journey. Many, many years ago, in another lifetime when I was only like this big and that young, I started off, I was involved in a business that we were actually coaching people to reach their maximum potential. And I found that what was happening is you'd get people go so far and all of a sudden they were stopped. Who can relate to that? So, and it was actually, and I could see these people, and a lot of times what would happen, because it was humiliating, because they had sabotaging patterns, because they had limiting beliefs, what was happening is they were actually get to a point where they were so stressed about not being able to achieve their potential that they would quit on their goals. Who knows people like that? You might even be one of those people. And so what I did was I actually went on a bit of a journey, went to the UK, went to Germany and learnt a particular technique to help people rise to their potential. And it was a really fascinating journey, and what I found was I was really gifted in that area and I was really excelling in that area. But I found also that the problem with the brain, unless you understand completely brain behaviour, people default back into their patterns. So who's been to a course, got really excited, went out there, was the Learjet, and then found out you ran out of fuel and you crashed? We've all done it. We've all done it. Because the brain is actually set on a behaviour pattern that 60% of it is genetic. So it can be a behaviour pattern that can go up to 7 generations, guys. So what I actually found was I had to study what the brain was really all about. And my gift and my study was in the unconscious, not the conscious and not the subconscious, but the unconscious brain. So I spent 11 years ago, I threw away all the tools that I learnt because I couldn't charge people for work that I was doing if they were coming back 3 months later with the same problem. I just couldn't do that. So I then had to go and throw everything away and start with the fundamentals of brain behaviour. It's a long story, 5 minutes doesn't give it. But eventually I had this dream, and if you've got a dream and you're compelled by your dream, all I can say is you've got to chase it and you've got to follow it. Because I had a dream way back then to start a business that was actually going to be a franchise business in emotional and mental health, and all to do with the brain. And it wasn't my background, but it was my love and my passion. I was 40 odd years of age, 41, 42, and I found my passion, my purpose in life. And so what actually happened was I went on this journey, and then I found out that people can change at any level. They can actually change. They can reach their potential. But what I realised is people are actually accessing the potential at this very moment. Your brain can't go where the brain can't go. And so if you're finding that you're not getting into your peak performance, it's because your brain's already at its full capacity. It's got to change its behaviour. So I worked on I developed a technique called Q&R, quantum neuro recoding. We're the only place in the whole world that uses it. It's been trialled and tested. We see around about 400 people a month. So, we don't need crash dummies to prove it. But what actually happened was we got really good in helping people with things like schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, borderline personality disorders, all that sort of stuff. But my real passion is entrepreneurship and business. I love it. I love business. And for me, I'm going to franchise what I do. So I like the dynamics of business. So about 7 years ago, I set on the journey to actually create a business program, and that was actually peak performance, high achievers and mastering. And to get the brain into those particular areas of life where you could actually reach your peak. So that was really good, but it was a 6-month journey, and 6 months is not long when you think about it. Somebody's doing all the work for you, and you can take people into that place where you can get them into mastery. But then I sat down and I thought, what if I actually am limiting myself? What if I'm limiting myself and the brain could be wired to go beyond that in a shorter period of time? So I threw everything away, got embarrassed about promoting my product. People loved it. It was a great product. So I got really embarrassed about promoting that product because I set out to become unstoppable. Unstoppable means that your brain can maximise beyond its potential. Who here would like to go beyond their potential? See, the thing is, if you sit down and take stock at it, just one little thing, if you have to force yourself into doing the activities of your daily life, you're actually already at your potential, and you have to move beyond that potential, and that's what stresses the brain out. So for what I did for 3 years, I worked in the drawing board, and I trialled and tested how to become unstoppable in 10 days. So I went from 6 months to 10 days to become unstoppable, and it works over a period of 12 months' time. So it's a performance-based program. So that's what my specialty is. My love and my passion is helping people break free from their challenges, but my specialty is getting people to rise to their maximum potential. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to offer today 5 people that want to trial what it's like to be unstoppable for 10 days. And we'll sit down as a consultation, we'll sit down with you, we'll work out exactly what your stoppages are, and I'll wire your brain to be unstoppable for 10 days. You've got 10 days of trying to be lifting outside of your performance. So 10 days, can you imagine what you could do in 10 days? Now, I'll just give you a quick story. I'm just about time out. I sat down with a business owner. He was an entrepreneur. He was successful in his business, and he was failing. And he said to me, I'm going to be out of business in 6 months. I put him through the Unstoppable You program. What he sold in 5 months, what he sold in 5 months was 2 properties. In 1 month, he sold 7 after the Unstoppable You. Premium price properties. So you don't have to be where you are. You can be beyond that. So I think I'm up.
Thank you, Terri. That is a very generous offer. I never ask members to give offers. They just do it. So I would take that offer up. And if no one else does, Terri, put me down. Because when she says you're going beyond your potential, I haven't even perceived that. I'm just like going, yeah, I just want to reach my potential. But she's talking about going beyond your potential. I'm like going, I want to know a little bit about that. Okay, so thank you, Terri.